Hello, everybody, and welcome to FILTERLESS, the podcast whoa, the podcast where we talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, however the fuck we want to talk about it. My name is Kat, or Dr. Catatonic if you come from YouTube, and I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-host, the main character, or Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, he's here. Today we got a very special episode because it is a listener-submitted topic, first one ever. We're only, 26 episodes in before you guys decided, well, we're going to give you a topic. But before that, before anything podcast related, I'd like to ask of you guys to join the Discord so you guys can give us topics, as well as just tell your friends about the podcast, kind of, get us out there word of mouth. And yeah, how you doing today, Jeremy?
I'm doing all right. I have not received any new computer things yet.
Well, as the viewers know, you haven't received any computer things. I don't know why you're saying yet. We didn't talk about this last time.
Because you asked how my day was.
How has your life been since the last time we recorded? Asshole.
Been good. I am building computer.
Yeah, I don't know why. I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know why you're building a computer now. Because you asked, not even 4 months ago about, should I get a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox? And I said, you should just get a computer. And you said, and I quote, I don't want to.
Well, right. But that was because I needed an upgrade from what I had. And then I received that. And now I would like to have both.
Fair, I guess. Yeah, computer's nice. What kind are you, do you have the specs for your computer? Are you building one, or are you,
Yeah, I'm gonna buy all the parts and then throw it together myself. I could give you all the specs, but it's just gonna be, average stuff.
Okay. I mean, you did ask...
40 to 60, and...
You told both Jay Schlatt and Wilbur that if they got you a 4090, then you would erase their crimes off the internet.
Yeah, I tried.
No response yet?
No.
Damn. I'm doing pretty okay too. I just yesterday watched Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine. Dude, it's so fucking good. It is the best piece of media that Marvel has put out ever.
I need to watch that.
It's fucking hilarious. The fight scenes are awesome. It's awesome. It's great. The story's kind of meh in a way. Yeah, it's a good story, but at the same time, it's kind of meh. But it was worth it. It was worth every penny spent on buying the tickets, and I would do it again. In fact, I am doing it again. I'm going to be watching the movie again. Maybe not in theaters, but I am going to watch it again. It's fantastic. Also, for those of you watching, I am in a new place. Yeah, I moved into my apartment, so that's a thing that also happened since the last recording, which is also why last episode was delayed. And also, big news, we're going to be changing our posting days to Mondays instead of Sundays, strictly because I don't have time to edit throughout the week anymore. So Sunday is my day off. So Sunday will be the editing day, and then it'll post Monday. That way I have, time. Also, our recording schedule is all sorts of fucked. Because, neither one of us really have, guaranteed days off. So, you know how it is. Adulting is annoying. But yeah, I'm in a new place. So on my personal side of content, expect cooking streams, and maybe not cooking streams, but cooking videos. Something that I want to do now that I'm in my own place. But right now my kitchen is filled with boxes, and I also don't have any kitchen utensils. I have 2 forks, and that's pretty much it.
That's all you need, man.
Except for the fact I like cooking, so to be fair, I also don't have much in my pantry either. I got 2 forks, a blender, a coffee maker, and a toaster.
You need an air fryer.
I do need an air fryer. That'd be dope. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. Mainly just getting my apartment in check and also working. So, nothing really, like, too interesting. I also got the new merch. The We Are Filterless merch. It's backwards in the video, but, you know, it's dope as hell. It's super cool. You guys should buy it. But anyways, before we get into the meat of the episode, Jeremy, you got a disturbing fun fact for us?
Yeah, so this fact, in recent light of how most people's diets are nowadays, might actually know about this one. It's about soda. Yeah, soda. As to quote Joe Biden, soda. But soda rots your bones. It makes your bones weaker. Makes your bones weak. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I have two different sources. I have one by the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, who say that women who drink soda have found to have weaker hip bones. And then another study that I forgot the site of said that in a survey they did, young teens have a higher chance of getting fractures in their bones. That the ones that do drink soda compared to the ones that do not drink soda.
Is it specifically soda or like carbonated drinks?
I mean, it says soda.
Okay. Interesting.
I'm going to guess it's not the fact that you're just throwing your water into one of those pressurized things and getting sparkling water.
Yeah, because I drink a lot of carbonated stuff. Well, not a lot, but I drink, like, sparkling water and shit, because liquid death. Not sponsored, but could be. Give money. Anyways, yeah, that's kind of, interesting. Yeah, it would be... why? What is the... Do they just take... Are they just taking some people and being like, hey, your bones are weak. Do you drink soda? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, oh, that's the reason why. Or is there, like, actually, oh, this thing in soda causes osteoporosis type of thing?
I'm not entirely sure. I don't think they take just, like, your femur and, like, drip some soda on it and see what happens. Although that could be... They could be doing some science petri dish, putting, like, potassium molecules inside of a petri dish, and then throwing, like, some Coca-Cola in there and see what happens. But I don't know.
Because I know, like, caffeine... So it's like a folklore, I guess you could say, whatever it's called, where, like, oh, caffeine stunts your growth or coffee stunts your growth, but it doesn't. And I actually did a research project on this. So what happens is, in science, it's confirmed that caffeine actually draws calcium from your bones, but it's not enough calcium to draw from your bones to actually cause a problem. It's like 0.001% calcium draw from your bones, and it can be easily combated by just adding some milk into your coffee.
Yeah, alright.
But, so that's where, like, a lot of people think, oh, it stunts your growth. Really, what it happens is, in high amounts, coffee can cause osteoporosis, but it's, like, very extreme and under specific circumstances and extremely rare for it to actually cause osteoporosis. But there is science backing up the fact that it could, basically, you know?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Soda rotting your bones. I mean, no, it's probably not good for you, but...
I guess technically the terminology isn't rotting, but it's making... The idea is the weakening of the skeletal system.
It's a brain rotting. Ha! Just like this episode. This episode's a brain rot, everyone. So if you're new to the podcast, brain rots are basically just our every other episode, which... Similarly to all the episodes that we've had recently, are just whatever we want. But it will typically just be the two of us. Guest episodes, which are the episodes that happen on the The odd number episodes are guest episodes. Those ones have guests. The brain rots with even number episodes, and they're whatever the fuck we want them to be. The only reason why last episode was the way it was is because it was a last minute thing because the guest that we originally had wasn't available anymore. Wasn't available as a guest anymore. Anyways, on with the brain rot episode. Today we're talking about words, and this is actually an episode suggested by a listener named Fog. She's in the Discord. She's pretty cool. I actually met her from a different server, and she joined the Discord server. She's pretty cool, and she basically, actually, I'll read exactly what she wanted the episode to be, and then what we kind of talked it into being. Topic: brain rot ideas. Yeah, talk about the English language. That's basically what it is. We're just gonna talk about the English language, some fun words that we have, and yeah, Jeremy, would you like to kick us off with something? And then I have a whole tangent, but I'm gonna save that for like the middle of the episode. Just something to like more like to wrap your brain around. Just kind of ease us into. You got any fun words that you found?
Yeah, actually, because speaking of soda, the word soda derives from the word sodium.
Interesting. Like
bro is really absorbing that information.
But
so, okay.
Expound.
Wikipedia says, right? Soda derives from sodium, a common mineral in natural springs. It was first to describe carbonation in 1802.
Oh, so soda's like, fizzy.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, a lot of words actually derive from... this brings me into my tangent. I'm still going to save it, though. A lot of words just derive from other languages and, like, other things that make sense. Like, everything's like a nickname for something, in a way, if you really think about it. First of all, the English language is basically plagiarized from every other fucking language ever. If you really, like, we got Spanish words, we got Latin, we got some German words, like, everything's just plagiarized from something else, in a way. Mainly Latin.
Well, and I mean, that is the general cycle of all languages, is it not?
I mean...
100 years ago, our English was like way different from how we see English as we do today.
Yeah, that's fair. They were pulling like ye olde and stuff like that.
Like you can be like, oh yeah, well they stole from Latin. Well, originally, Latin was the language.
Yeah.
It's just now English is the language, and so we just use some of those words.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you, like, read a book from many years ago, you're not going to be able to understand. That's why fucking reading Shakespeare is so goddamn hard. Because that's how maybe not how they used to talk, but that's how things were written, you know? Because it's, like, Old English, and holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, and I just gave up.
Alright.
I failed that semester because they're like, yeah, we're reading Shakespeare. I'm like, I can't even read regularly. But, well, language in general, if you think about it, everything is... The reason why there's different languages, you got different groups of people that agree that, hey, that thing is called this. And everyone's like, yeah, okay. Like, if you look at an apple... And you're like, yeah, that's called an apple because everyone that speaks this language agrees that this sound means this. Saying the sound apple means this red thing that I'm holding. You know?
Right.
So
that is the idea of a language.
Words are just sounds that we associate to objects.
Yeah.
So you could just point at someone and go, ah! And if everyone agrees that that's what that means, then it's called that forever.
I mean, yeah, that is... that is the idea of like when you're teaching a child or someone who doesn't know your language, the language, you say, "Hey, that's an apple," and they go, "Okay."
Apple.
Because they might have seen an apple 80 times over by now, but they don't correlate what they're looking at as apple.
Yeah. Sorry, it was yawning. Goddamn. Late ass recording session. 30 minutes past what we normally do. It's fine. Yeah. And shit, what was the other thing I was gonna say that's like... Oh, so here's like a thought experiment. What if you were to... There's no way to ethically do this, hence why it's a thought experiment, but what if you were to take like 4 kids before they learned how to speak and kind of just like put these 4 kids in like a Truman Show type situation where it's like, oh, they think this is the real world but not really type of thing, and so the only thing that they know is this room that has trees, and they know all the things that are in the room, and basically you don't ever teach them how to speak, so they just learn how to speak within like their group of 4 people. Do you think they'd be able to create their own language?
Okay, so the idea of this is great. I mean, well, not really, but
yeah, like I said,
the concept.
There's no ethical way to like
throwing ethics aside, the major flaw in this is that there's no one to take care.
Well, you would have to get to a point where they're self-sustaining. Basically, just put 4 kids who have never heard words ever before. It would be a very controlled experiment. You have these 4 kids have their 4 mothers or 2 mothers or whatever. Or you technically could just do 1, and they're taken care of, but that person cannot speak ever to them specifically. So they're taken care of it. Basically, just get it to the point where they're self-sustaining. You feed them through like a slot in the door type of thing. The whole premise is that they don't have any connection with the outside world. Would they create their own language?
In a perfect world where all of these things can happen without any text or like hearing any kind of languages at all throughout their entire lives, yeah, they're going to eventually create their own language. So because they're going to communicate in some way.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we could make our own language because words are just sounds. You know, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So if you're like, oh yeah, this is a controller. From now on, we're gonna call this a bebop. Voila, new language has started.
See, I was gonna say that because. So I don't know about you, but I only know one. Like I know like tad bits of like German, but I am English only.
I speak English, and I'm conversationally fluent in sign language, but that's not really like a spoken language.
Yeah, I'm talking about like audible language.
Yeah.
Because even if we were to be like, okay, let's go create our own language, it's going to be... What's the word? It's going to be influenced by English language.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, it's going to have roots in a basic formatting that we have in English.
So at that point in time, it would turn into a dialect of English, basically.
Not really a dialect, because a dialect is just similar to an accent. It's just the way something is said, depending on what region you're from.
So different... We'll take Spanish, for example, because this one I actually have an example. You go to Mexico and you speak Spanish that you learned in Puerto Rico. Those words don't mean the same thing. I think in Spanish, the word for cake in Mexico means ass. Or something like that. So if you go to Mexico and speak the Puerto Rican dialect of Spanish and say, I ate the whole cake, they're going to look at you funny.
I don't know. You might get a couple of high fives.
Yeah! But no, like...
How was your wedding? I ate the whole ass. I go, alright.
Alright, Chief. I see you. But, yeah, so different dialect... So, if it were to be influenced from English, would it be considered... Like, would it be considered a dialect of English? Or would it be similar to how...
It depends on how close it is to English. Like, if it's just like English, because a dialect is like you said with your whole Spanish like example. My example would be like, okay, so in Florida, southern states, we just call it coffee, but if you're from like up north, you might be like coffee. Okay. That is basically a dialect in English in the U.S.
No, wouldn't that be would that be a dialect, or would that be a?
It's an accent. It's an accent, but okay, hold on. Time to pull up Google.
So saying coffee or quaff, I can't do accents. Saying that, but wouldn't that would be considered an accent? But we'll say English. You go to London and you say elevator. Elevator doesn't mean elevator. Elevator means lift in like Europe. That would be a dialect. Unless I'm just not functioning correctly, but I'm pretty sure, wouldn't that be considered a dialect? They say lift, we say elevator.
So, from what this is saying, accent refers to punctuation. Dialect refers to a whole group of how the language is featured, including punctuation, but also differences in vocabulary, grammar, and how the language gets used. Okay, so I'm guessing because the whole thing of like what everyone has an accent. Mm-hmm. Everybody has an accent, but maybe not everybody has a different dialect. Yeah. So a dialect. That okay, would so be accent.
So there's
so an accent.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me cook. Accent is the difference between coffee and coffee. Dialect is the difference between saying soda or pop.
Yeah,
or just going with the shorthand for Coke.
Did you just say it's shorthand for Coke? Because here in America,
or
if it's soda, pop, Coke. Those three mean the same thing depending on where you go.
Yeah.
And then there's soda pop. And like Coke, you go to some places, I wish I could remember what areas of the United States use Coke as like an everything. But you go to some places and you'll say, "Hey, can I get a Coke?" And they go, "What kind?" And you're like, "What?" The cola kind.
A Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola.
Well, they'll also use cola as well as a shorthand.
Sometimes,
short
yeah.
term, whatever. Like, I know it's like in Ohio, they say pop. Mm-hmm. Because Show will do that.
And then we bully him relentlessly.
Yeah, they're like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
What the fuck did you just say to me? The fuck you say to me, you little shit?
Yeah.
Well, that's completely unrelated, but that's another thing, like curse words. I'm a firm believer that curse words shouldn't be considered bad words. Yeah, you shouldn't go out in public and just yell fuck. But if you slip in the word fuck into like normal conversation, depending on how you're using it, I think it's perfectly acceptable. Because it's just a word. The only reason why people have determined that it's a bad word is because people are like, oh, that's bad. You know? Because originally, there's a thing. I think it's a Netflix show that goes into the history of curse words. And I didn't watch it, but I seem to remember somewhere someone saying that they watched it and they explained the reason why fuck is considered a bad word is because at one point in time it kind of meant like hail to the crown type of thing. So people were like, oh, you say that means you're against me because, like, specifically in the United States. I could be just spouting out my ass. I just seem to remember that fuck was considered a good thing because it meant like hail to the crown. But in some places, it was considered a bad thing because of what it meant.
And then sometimes it's just one of those things where it meant, like, it had an actual definition, but then people started using it as an insult, and so it's kind of just been like, like the word bitch. Yeah. Like historically, that was just a word to describe a female dog, but because you call people a bitch, then they get a little offended.
It gets
and
to
so
the
now
point
it's like an official word that's bad.
Curse words and bad words, they ride a fine line. If you're using them normally or how they're supposed to be used, like ass doesn't mean butt, it means like donkey. Or like, is it jackass means donkey? Something like that. It's just ass?
So I think it's jackass, but it can be shorthanded for ass.
Yeah. It gets to the point where if you're just being an asshole and you're using the words derogatorily, then they're considered curse words. I am by no means justifying the usage of the N-word, by the way. I want to be very clear. That's why I would say the derogatory part. If it's used derogatorily, it's considered a curse word.
I would say that there is definitely a difference in curse word and then slur.
Yeah, but there's a bit of a jump. I have to cover my bases because I can't be like, oh, fuck is just a word. And then people will be like, well, if you think fuck is just a word, does that mean the N-word is just a word? No. That's a slur.
Man, first you talk about kidnapping kids and put them in the civilizations, and now you're talking about fucking... You could be like, oh, no, the N-word is just a word I can say.
Well, I'm not going to say well, but, you know, because that was me going to a totally different thought.
Well, we came up with it, so why can't we...
Well, in my opinion, the only real curse words are slurs that are used, not even slurs that are used derogatorily, just slurs in general. Those are curse words, in my opinion. If you're using words derogatorily to hurt someone, then it's considered bad. That's it.
I mean, I think if curse words didn't... I think if they weren't branded as curse words, they wouldn't be as strong in language as they are currently. Like if they were like, oh, we're going to denounce fuck as a curse word, then I wouldn't be like, well, what the fuck? Because then it would be like, oh, well, that doesn't really have, like, any meaning now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it has, like, the meaning, but it doesn't have, like, the power it had prior.
I mean, it still has power. It still means the same thing. But, yeah, I get what you mean. You're saying that you only use curse words because they're curse words?
I mean, pretty much.
I'm a bad bitch. I use the fuck word because it's a bad word.
I mean, that's basically how it is, though. Like, you use that word because that is its purpose as a word.
Yeah.
And you can have you can have a two-sided sword like hell, because it is a biblical place, that you can be using it as the actual noun, or you can be using it as, like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah. And that's another one. I'm just going to say outright, hell is not a bad word. Neither is damn. Hell and damn are not bad
there
words.
Also is, like, a hierarchy of... there's a tier list of how bad a bad word is.
Agreed. Like, fuck, shit, bitch, those are, like, way up here. I'm past the 1 minute mark. I can say these things now.
I don't know. Like, I feel like fucking bitch, those are up there. But, like, damn, crap, shit.
Crap's not a bad word. Stop it. Crap is not a bad word. See? That's not even on
It depends on who you ask.
No.
It depends on who you ask.
They're wrong.
Because as a kid, crap was a bad word, and I wasn't allowed to say it. But
as a kid, me saying what the heck was considered a bad word.
Well, it depends on how your parents or whoever was raising you had their standpoints. Because if they just, like, knew the word, like, Because my grandparents at certain times like, oh, well, you're just substituting the word, so you're still meaning it as a bad word, so you can't say that.
Yeah, I think that's what the heck thing was for, is because like, oh, you're just substituting heck for hell. But even then, hell's not a bad word.
It's just
I firmly agree or believe that hell should not be considered a bad word. Neither should damn. Like,
but I mean, in that same vein, if you denounce hell and damn as curse words, then who's gonna say what the hell?
I'm going to be honest. I feel like there's many. So I get that hell has a reason for it to be considered a bad word because of its biblical meaning, and I think that's the reason. Like, that's where people go with it. You know, like that's the reason why it's a bad thing. But damn has no, like, it doesn't have a meaning. Its meaning is for what it's used for. You know what I mean? Like, DAMN, damn, is used for damn. No other version, like, you have DAM, but that's for, like, a beaver dam or, like, something totally different. Damn is used for damn. So I don't think it's a bad word, because there's no way in hell it's offending anyone. Hell might offend Christians. I get that. I think you're dumb if you're offended by it, but, you know, I can respect it. But I think that a lot of the problem with curse words is the reason why they're considered offensive is because they do offend people, you know? That's like their whole purpose.
Okay, so according to LinkedIn, the word damn originated in 17th century France, but can be traced back to the Middle English word for DAM, and even further back to the Latin word damnare, which I guess is like short for damnation maybe, which means to condemn. So if you were like... So I guess back in the day you were just being like, oh, you're condemned or whatever, like you're doing a bad.
You're doing a bad. Damn you. I mean, yeah, damn you. Yeah. Yeah, that
like
makes
if
sense.
You're like if you're damned, then like you're doomed.
Yeah.
That is another thing. Curse words can kind of just be used in any kind of sort of structure in a sentence.
So
it still holds weight.
Do you by chance know the Hollywood PG-13 rule for the word fuck?
They get the one.
Okay, so they get one, right? So every PG-13 movie gets one fuck, which is already more than I have. Anyways, they get one fuck, and they're allowed to use it in any way except for referring to sex. So if they can't say fuck you because of how the word is used. It is used in a sexual manner technically by saying fuck you. But you could say what the fuck, that's different. You can't say go fuck yourself because that's considered sexual.
Right.
You get the one and you can't... I learned this from MatPat. It was a YouTube short, MatPat YouTube short. After the Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie came out, he did a YouTube short on it because, like, it was surprising that Star-Lord said, open the fucking door.
Dude, that's, like, the best thing ever. That's, like... That has to be the best place he could have put it, though.
Yeah, it's awesome.
What do I do now? Open the fucking door!
You know, he went into an interview. It was him and James Gunn, I think, talking about the interview. And someone told them, it's like, you don't want your movie to be the first movie that ever... Like, the first Marvel movie that has the fuck... Has the F word in it. And they went, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's like I said, I feel like curse words are only curse words because they offend people, which is fair. They're like bad words because they offend people. The N word is only considered bad because it offends a specific group of people because it's used derogatorily. Same thing with other slurs referring to black people and other people of color. I get it. I understand. That's not that's not what I'm saying. I'm like, you know what I mean? Again, not justifying slurs, but a slur would not be a slur if no one was offended by it. That's why you can say honky to a white person or on the internet and you won't get in trouble for it, because it's not considered a slur, because there's not a single white person in existence that would be offended by that, because it's just ridiculous. Or cracker. Not a single white person in the existence is going to be offended by that. Except for maybe, like, a Karen. Someone who wants to be offended.
And then the principal walked in and he tried to help him stop me. You gonna die, honky.
Okay. So, do you have any other fun words, by chance?
Oh, buddy, that is half of what I have.
I talked about all the things I wanted to talk about. I got some words.
One more on going back to the whole, like, curse words can just be kind of thrown into sentences is, it used to be what in the hell, but now it can just be shorthanded to what the hell.
Yeah, and also, people who say, like, oh, the only reason I use curse words is because you're not smart enough to come up with other ones. First of all, you're right. Second of all, fuck you.
Alright. No, yes. I just like using them because, I don't know, I can.
Yeah, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. That's another thing. If you notice, high school wasn't super offended with you if you just popped an F word every once in a while. They would care if, like, I had a teacher specifically that I would, like, Alexi and I had the teacher, and him and I would go back and forth, like, just basically treating the class like a YouTube video. Like, the teacher would say something, and him or I would, like, just say something really funny out of pocket just for fun, you know? Like, there was this the character in a book, and basically her whole shtick was that she was a whore. So the teacher was like, so what exactly was she? And Alexi and I looked at each other and basically went, a whore?
Yeah, alright.
And then the joke just became, like, every time that she would say something referring to this character, I would just go, like a hoe. And it got to the point where I didn't say it because the teacher kind of gave me that look. It's like, okay, calm down. And everyone else in the class said it for me. So, like, I would get it, like, in that class specifically, the teacher didn't care, but there was one of the students that felt uncomfortable with me popping an F word every once in a while. So, the teacher was like, hey, I don't care, but that person that sits, like, 3 seats behind you cares, so just, like, tone it down a bit. I'm like, okay, fine.
Tell them to fucking grow up.
First of all, you're in public school. There's no way in hell you're walking through the hallways and everyone's like, oh, frickety frack. Like, you hear the F word more often in the hallways than you do this class.
Bros crying at night because people said fuck in the hallway.
My mom said that's a bad word. Well, fuck your mom.
I have a word here. I don't know how accurate lore-wise this is, but the word deeded, D-E-E-D-E-D, is the only word that is made up of... is the only word that is made using only 2 different letters, each being used 3 times differently.
Yeah. There's another word that I can't remember off the top of my head, but it has a bunch of C's in the word, I think it is.
Isn't it like conscious?
No, I don't think it's that. But there's a word that every C in the word sounds differently, and there's like 4 different C's.
Yeah.
That's another thing with, like, the English language being so fucking confusing to someone who's learning it. I 100% agree that English is not an easy language to learn because you have words like 4, 4, and 4. F-U-R, F-O-R. Or did I say 4 times? 4 and 4, F-O-R and F-U-R. But door is not F-O-R or F-O-U-R. Door. God damn it. My point is invalid now. But door is not spelled D-O-U-R, it's spelled D-O-O-R. But book is not bork, it's B-O-O-K, which is book. So I 100% understand that English is confusing as fuck.
Enter that whole skit with the guy going back and forth with the fucking cards and all that.
Oh, the the guy that does like the universal language and English and Spanish and that skit?
No, it's the guy who's doing stand-up and he has like a bunch of like cards.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. For a nice like breather, I'm just gonna say a bunch of words that I think sound funny, or are spelt funny. Starting off, we have lollygag.
Yeah, I like that.
Second, we have kerfuffle.
Is that actually a word?
Then we have bumfuzzle, scrumptious, dwaddle, corker, bibble.
Croaker sounds like a slur.
Naut, rambunctious, bumbershoot, collywobbles, gerrymandering.
Time out. Are these like actual words?
Yeah.
Dwaddle. Can you give like definitions for some of these?
Okay, collywobbles. It is the meant to describe a stomach ache or queasiness.
What's wrong? Oh, I got the collywobbles.
Bumbershoot. A fun way to say an umbrella. It's an umbrella. Don't forget your bumbershoot.
Don't forget your bumbershoot. It might rain. I'm gonna pull that on someone with like the straightest fucking face, and they're just gonna look at me and go, "What the fuck did you just say to me?" Yo, you forgot your bumbershoot. What? Your bumbershoot. You know, for like when it rains, umbrella. That's what I said.
Continuing on, we have the oodles, swagger,
The oodles.
cacophony, irrinaceous, gobbledygook, ginormous. Hold on. Petriker?
Whoa, watch that.
Yeah.
Hard R. It's Pictrica. You. No.
Biblioclept, cattywampus. I don't want to say that one. And hullabaloo.
I don't want to say that one. Uh-oh. So, I don't have a list of words, but I will share my favorite word.
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm going to give it a try. Flibber to gibbet.
Flibber to gibbet?
Yep.
Interesting. What does that one mean?
Basically, you're yapping. A frivolous, flighty, or excessively talkative person.
That's awesome. So
you're a fucking flibber to digit. I'll fucking tell you what.
So I don't have like a list of words like you, but I will share my favorite word, which is actually I think it's considered two words, but auto defenestration, which is the act of throwing oneself out of a window.
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's fucking funny. The fact that someone had done it so many times that people were like, yo, we need a word for this. We need a word for throwing yourself out a window.
Okay, let me hit you with this one, right? It is the word of A.
Yeah? That's
It
the
is
word?
It is spelt the letter A and the letter A.
That's a word?
It is a noun for a type of lava formation.
Aye.
That's an A right there.
Yeah, you got some pretty nice A right there. What? Your A. It's good. You mean the lava? Yeah, the A. What? I mean, to be fair, there is such thing as an insect called a bee, but it is spelled B-E-E, which is funny to me because you can spell the way that letters sound, which I guess is technically the reason for like, shit, what's it called? When you have like, you write a word, but you write it out the way that it sounds. Shit, what's it called? Phonetically? Yeah. Which is how phonetics work. So, like, key. You would spell K. and then E, which would realistically, phonetically, I think E is EE, right? Or is E with a line above it, and it's pronounced E. So I find it funny you can spell letters. And I've said that before, and the person I said it to just, like, looked at me. I'm like, tell me I'm wrong. Because you got a fucking insect. You got an animal called a bee. But the only thing making a bee different from to be is the fact that there's one less E into bee. Or this is something that Alexi told me, that because buffalo is a location, it is a noun and a verb. The word the sentence buffalo, buffalo, buffalo is actually a grammatically correct sentence.
Well, are you known to the western lowland gorilla, whose scientific name is gorilla, gorilla, gorilla?
Actually?
Yes.
Yo, what the fuck is that? Gorilla! 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 Writing that down.
Alright then.
Are you sure?
It's just like everyone's minds blew whenever they realized that the scientific name for pig is sus.
Yeah. Or like there's a chord, I think it is, that is G sus on a piano. Like the chord is called G sus A or something like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's another thing. Fucking slang. That's an interesting one. First of all, if you're using the words skibbity and sigma and words like that, if you're using those unironically, I'm going to say this in the nicest way possible, kill yourself. Maybe don't. YouTube, that was a joke. Don't actually. But stop. And I get, like, people are talking about, like, oh, our generation had words like that, like fucking free Shavakadu. People weren't saying that unironically.
Free Shavakadu is a woman literally reading fresh avocado incorrectly.
I believe it's a guy, by the way.
No, it's not. Look it up. Look up the original Vine.
Get misgendered, idiot. But the difference is people are using words like sigma unironically. We were using
because
they came from memes, yes, and that's like the argument is like, oh, they came from memes. Yes, you can use those words. Heck, both Jeremy and I use those words in one of my videos, ironically. Like, we said, like, I think Jeremy said something about buying Riz, and then I said Skibbity, Ohio, or something like that. Ironically. But then there's people that say it unironically. Those people, get help. Please.
Showing her get for the Rizzler. Because Skibbity, or whatever the fuck it is. It's like the...
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
It's like the Metallica remix.
Don't pretend you don't know.
The Metallica Rizmix.
Or, there... Baby No Money posted a song recently called It Boy. And then, like, a couple days ago, I'm scrolling through YouTube Shorts, and there's a YouTube short of him just standing there, staring blankly into the camera, singing the It Boy, like, lyric, like, chorus, but spelling out, because the lyrics go, or the chorus is, he spells It Boy, right? But instead of saying It Boy, he spells out Skibbity. And then basically made a brain rot remix of his own song. That's funny. But then when you do it unironically, get help. I also might just be sounding like a fucking, like, boomer. You know? Like, being like, oh, your slang is stupid, but your slang is stupid. I don't care what you want to call me. Get help.
So... I got really into listening to a certain artist, and his music he makes is, or his channel's name is That's What I Call Brain Rot.
Oh.
But they're actual bangers, and it's not like that. It's not like, oh, Sigma grind set skibbity badussy type shit. It's like
badussy type shit.
They're like actual songs, but in one of the songs, like titled "I'm abandoning my son at the airport."
Yeah.
One of the lyrics are, "What the hell is a skibbity?"
I mean that's funny though.
Yeah. It's a banger of a song too.
Editor, you know what to do. That's funny.
Cat
though.
talking to himself.
I mean, the last time we made that joke of Cat talking to himself, Ace was the one editing the episode, so you never know. Shit might happen. Shit might go down. I want to get an edit. So, if anyone listening out there, you like editing podcasts, and you don't mind doing it for free, it only takes 3 hours to edit a podcast. And I'm broke.
Yeah.
But if you want to edit the podcast, hit me up. We'll work out something. I mean, right now I pay my artist in merch. So,
all right.
you know. But that was a predetermined agreement. She just likes making the stuff, so eventually I'll pay her. Like if Filterless pops off. Well, if Filterless pops off and I'm actually making money, I don't mind. I'm not like cutting corners and shit. It's not because I have the money and I don't want to share. It's because I don't have the money. Sorry, my microphone fell off my desk. That's gonna be fun to edit.
Yeah, I figured that's what that was.
But yeah, anyways, words. You got any closing thoughts? We've been here for about an hour.
Either way you look at it, it's what we use. And it's going to continue to be what we use to talk. And you can complain, you can be like, oh, the English language is blah, 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 blah. Cry about it. USA number one.
I saw this thing that was like making fun of the fact that we shorthand words. So like shorthand sentences. So instead of saying like, hey, how's it going? We go, what's up? But then that gets shortened to what's up? And eventually it's just going to turn into wuss.
Wuss.
What? But yeah, I mean, it's cool because language is an ever-evolving technology that we have.
Yeah. There's never going to be a point to where we're like, no, this is it. No more.
Flat. Like, every day, new word gets invented. I'm pretty sure yeet is in the dictionary now.
It's been a while. It's been like 6 years.
And people still say yeet.
Yeah, I don't use yeet as a term anymore.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think the people that use yeet are more of, like, our age, though. You know? Or, like, of our generation.
Honestly, I've heard more younger kids say it more than I have heard my generation talk about it.
I mean, yeah. I've heard adults say it, which is fucking surreal. I had a teacher say yeet once. I'm like, oh my god. I'm gonna cry. It unplugged my headphones. I'm deaf. I can't hear.
For reference, listeners, Cat likes to drop his mic every 8 seconds.
Listen, I don't have a microphone stand anymore. I can't, like, it doesn't just sit above my head. It's on my desk, like loosely just on my desk. Anyways, language, an ever-evolving technology. And realistically, it wouldn't be wrong to call the spoken language a technology. If you think about it, you know? Like, because tools are considered technology, and language is a tool. Boom.
I mean, yeah, it is the basis of all communication.
Mm-hmm. But yes, this was our TED Talk. A little bit of a shorter episode, but not by much. Are there any closing thoughts that you haven't already said, even though I already said closing thoughts?
Basically what I already said. Just it's not gonna.
It ain't going
it's not
anywhere.
gonna ever. Yeah, it's not going anywhere, and it's not going to be like, oh, we've shortened it to a couple hundred words. We can, just go from here.
Yeah, there will always be words.
Although I could see...
Apparently none in my mouth because I'm struggling.
I wouldn't be surprised if one day, like Webster and like all the other dictionary companies just stop making dictionaries because we're going to get so many words. And
like I said...
And technology's going to become so relevant to where you can look up anything you need. They might just be like, we don't... Like, don't get me wrong, I like dictionaries. I like having a dictionary around because
dictionaries dictionaries are a dying art. Like,
that's what happened. That's what happened to telephone books, though.
Yeah, or fucking encyclopedias. Encyclopedias are just like an encyclopedia is basically was it encyclopedias? Yeah, where the letter A in an encyclopedia is like an entire book on its own because it's every single word having to do with the letter A, and it's based like instead of going to the internet, you go to the encyclopedia type of thing, right? This is coming from someone who grew up with the internet, so don't make fun of me if I don't know what an encyclopedia is.
I know the definition of Wikipedia is the free encyclopedia, blah, 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 blah. Which, if you want to know how I know that, it's about...
You don't really know it. You just ended it with blah, 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 blah. You don't know it.
No, I just really wanted to get in there that one cock and ball torture read-over video.
Yeah?
Have you not heard of that one?
No.
The ball stretcher.
The ball stretcher.
He does say like he's like the ball stretcher.
But yeah, this has been Filterless, everybody. Like I said, a little bit of a shorter episode. We tried to stretch it out a little bit. To be fair, what was your opinion of this topic? Talking about it.
Honestly,
it was pretty interesting.
I had my doubts. I had my doubts coming into it, but it kind of just turned into more one of those like basic, like here's a not so
thought about thing.
Not only thought about, like it wasn't one of those like here's this topic and we got to stick to the specific track of talking. We could kind of just like talk and not be strapped down to a specific line of talking.
This episode will not be a banger, but this episode shows this is completely going to make my point invalid. This episode shows that we are not just brain dead idiots that talk for an hour.
Uh-huh.
We have thoughts behind our eyes. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Fucking god damn it! I'll memorize the socials eventually. If you guys want to help support the podcast, you can go and follow us on our various social medias. There's so many little guys. I pulled up shows outline to get the social medias because it's short. We got Instagram, Instagram Filterless Podcast, Twitter the Filterless PC, TikTok the Filterless Podcast, and always. We got YouTube, which is how some of you guys are probably watching this, which is the Filterless Podcast. Go ahead and follow us everywhere, and we will, like I said at the beginning, we're switching our upload days to Mondays and not Sundays because it gives me more time to edit. Jeremy, you got any closing things that you'd like to say?
Should probably buy some merch. Should probably listen to more episodes. And you should probably look up some more words.
Yeah. And this has been Filterless, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed. And as always, go fuck yourselves.